It doesn't matter how good is your dinner if you're having it by yourself. If you're standing on the top of the mountain in New Zealand, but you have no one to share that moment with, it doesn't feel as good as if I would have someone like my wife or whoever to be there with me.
The goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to create something that will.
Welcome to Perspective, a podcast for wedding creatives where we sit down, often with a special guest, and talk about our many years of experience in the wedding industry. We've got Mark Pacura in the podcast studio today talking with us about destination wedding photography. Of course, we'll get into Mark's backstory and the reasons for him becoming a destination wedding supplier. However, our aim for today's episode is to help guide those of you who have been inspired by some of the amazing films and images captured in some of the world's most beautiful locations. We have another open and honest conversation of the realities of shooting far from home. But if you've ever wondered how best to take steps to shoot in exotic locations, whether you're a filmmaker or a photographer, then this episode is definitely for you. We are, of course, sponsored by With Jack, but I'll get onto that a little bit later in the show. In the meantime, though, hello, Greg. What are we drinking?
Hello. We are drinking Girls Who Grind coffee.
Shake it. Thank you.
El Salvador honey processed bean.
That's right.
And we are drinking flat whites.
We're drinking flat whites.
Our guest here, Mark, you're not drinking coffee. What's going on?
I just had a coffee at the petrol station.
Oh, God.
Do I have to speak in such a cheerful voice? It's 10 o'clock in the morning.
That's why we have the coffee.
That's my radio voice, so don't worry.
Okay.
But no, you don't. You can be your miserable dull self.
Okay.
If you want.
Okay, and I'm more confident then.
You're not dull, Mark. However, you might have water, but we do have shortbread biscuits for you. Are you a snacker?
I'm on a diet.
You're on a diet. Well, I'll put these out of your arm reach, but they're there if you want them. And in this shoebox is Susie's Asian Sweeties.
I think I'm going to come back to do more episodes the way I'm treated here.
They were brought all the way from Japan.
Oh, wow.
They were. I mean, there's green tea, Kit Kats, and all sorts of crazy things in there.
I'll try after we do it, just in case I don't like it. I'll have it.
Yeah, well, they're lovely. And, I mean, we're doing Susie a favour by eating them. Because
she doesn't like them.
Oh, she loves them. And I think that's the problem. But yeah, how's your week? Your weekend?
Really good. What day is it today?
It's Thursday.
I thought it's Wednesday.
Not when you listen to this.
The week's been good because I just came back from holidays. Although I had a really bumpy ride, like the most bumpy ride, like flight I ever had. So that was a bit the downside because I had my daughter on my lap.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was screaming for the whole 4-hour flight. But apart from that, it was good. The season's over. I've delivered all the weddings.
Fantastic.
I can relax.
Yeah, you managed to get a family holiday. That's good.
Yeah, that's the
impressive.
second family holiday within a month.
Oh my goodness.
That's what happens when my wife's got access to booking.com or something.
So where'd you end up going this time?
We've been in Mexico about 6 weeks ago, and we just came back from Gran Canaria.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good holidays. But it was the first holiday that my daughter was actually able to walk because she's 14 months. So I felt like I've done about 20 miles chasing her around the swimming pool.
Yeah, I was going to say a holiday.
So she definitely had good holidays. We had, I don't know, different holidays that we used to, but it was good.
Yeah, holidays with kids is not a holiday. I always come back feeling like I need another holiday, just me and my wife.
Yeah, a lot of our friends, they said that, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, good. And of course, it's 5 days of Christmas as of recording. Is it 5?
It's very close.
It's very close to 5.
How many days?
Maybe a couple of days. But
I don't know if my wife's going to hear it, but I have to buy her a gift still. So.
You have to buy her a gift.
I feel under the pressure even more.
Well, this episode will be coming out in January.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry.
Okay.
That's right. So well done. You bought your wife a beautiful present.
We'll
You're perspiring. You're nervous. Don't worry.
It's a very nervous time of the year, man. My wife is Polish. They demand in terms of presents.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and you kid-wise, you okay? I mean, obviously, 14 months doing the Santa thing? Probably not.
I just need to buy one gift for my wife. She buys all the other gifts.
I am the same, and I feel guilty.
I don't.
It's the best
You don't.
way to do it.
It's. I feel like it's not my fault. I mean, it's partly my fault because I'm semi-useless. But she sees that I'm useless, and we play to our strengths. So she organizes everything Christmassy.
Yeah. Well, obviously, like I'm not from here, so it's not like we have a lot of people to buy the gifts to, because we just have like, you know, my sister who lives here. She's away to Poland for Christmas, and my wife's sister. So we're going to have like small, I don't know, Christmas Eve, because I'm Polish as well. Christmas Eve is the most important day of Christmas for us, and it's just going to be 5 of us.
Yeah. How and my week's been horrible.
Yeah, we've had a tough week with technology. We've been trying to export a couple's wedding film for close to a week now.
Yeah.
But the iMac that we use to export, that has all the plugins that we need, it just keeps saying that it's ran out of RAM when we get like 3 hours into the export. Yeah.
And I've deleted the cache, I've reinstalled it, I've done all the, you know,
a lot of troubleshooting.
Oh my goodness.
Which at this time of year, it's like, we just want to deliver as many films as we can to our couples.
I know, I really wanted to get out for Christmas.
So this one's been ready for ages, and it's like, come on.
But is it just that one film you cannot export all the other ones?
Well, so usually when I've done a film, I export it, but I thought, you know what, I'm just going to save them all up, and you can put them in a queue, and it just works through them. So I thought that one night it would just do them all. So no, I have all 4 films to export, and I'm now having to do them one at a time. And I've done the trailer, that's great.
I'm not sure whether it's just this project or whether the next one will have the same issues. But hopefully we'll have fixed the problem by the time we get to it.
So it's like, is it the exporting requires, I don't know, a lot of RAM or like strong, like powerful computer? I don't know anything about it.
I was looking at the activity monitor, like opened that up in the Mac, and then I clicked export, and you can see the CPU and the RAM usage, and it just went skyrocketing up past like 20 gigabytes, and I was like, that can't be normal.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't be as much as that. It should be a lot, but not as much as that.
Have you tried adding more RAM to your computer, or is your computer maxed up?
It's pretty RAM sufficient, my Mac. I mean, it's a beast.
Maxed out, though. I can't remember if that version maxed out at 32 or if there's room to go up to 64.
That's true.
But it's at 32 gig of RAM in there, so
it should be enough.
Plenty.
We'll get that fixed.
Anyway, enough talking about
technology
rubbish. We were at a cool workshop, Mark.
Were you?
Yeah, it was great.
It was great as well. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to do more, actually. I can't wait to go to Iceland. It was a really nice couple of days. I hope you enjoyed it as well. And
it was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was good fun. So for the listeners, Mark and Nordica did a workshop in Iceland called Rodi. Just Rodi?
Rodi Workshop, yeah.
Rodi Workshop. And we went along, attended, got some film footage, we'll edit a promo video for it.
When we don't have technical issues.
A good couple of days driving around, mainly the northwest, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I was just following Cole.
And we were following
I had a rough idea where we were. Yeah, it was... I really enjoyed it because, like, I've been in Iceland a couple of times before. So apart from the workshop and everything, what I enjoyed, that we've been to places, you can confirm that there were hardly any other people. Because usually when you go to Iceland, you're surrounded by tourists, which is not a bad thing. But if you want to shoot the couple or elopement or anything, it doesn't make the job easy. But I think because we went to places that are not so popular, but still I would say really beautiful. I enjoyed that there was no one around apart from us.
Yeah, that was amazing. Like the first morning when we ended up going to the first spot, and it was like a good 2 hours that we spent, because you could just turn around and shoot anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Spent a good 2 hours, and then maybe 1 or 2 people started turning up, and it was like only just now there's tourists arriving.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, I just booked a wedding in March in Iceland, and the original plan, the couple wanted to go to the Golden Circle, so the most popular places. But I managed to talk them into going to the area where we've been to, because it was so beautiful and so much easier as well. You don't have to. It might be even more difficult for you with the film, because you cannot clone out someone in a red jacket in the background. For me, I can do it, but it's still. I remember shooting an elopement on Sky, and I had to remove people from about 100 photos. So, and I think it also. With places like that, obviously, like if someone looks at my website or any other photographer's website, I've done an elopement on Sky, they might get the idea of intimate elopement with no one around, because they can't see anyone around, but the reality is different. There will always be people there. So that's why I'm happy we're going to that location.
Yeah. So what Mark basically just admitted that photographs lie to you, but film's real, folks. Film's real.
Yeah, okay.
I'm kidding.
That's going to be edited out, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is a bit like that, unless you do it like really early, or I don't know, or just if you go to Black Beach, one of the most popular spots, you have to walk out, I don't know, half a mile or something like that to be alone.
Yeah.
So what's the feedback been from? You did the roadie workshop a couple of times.
Yeah. Was it just twice?
We've done it twice.
Right, okay.
But we're definitely doing more. I think in March we might do one in Lofoten in Norway, because
nice.
we both, me and the Nordica guys, we've been there before, and it's an amazing location as well. So the feedback's, obviously biased, but we did the questionnaire and everyone was really happy. I think we've been obviously lucky with the weather, which helps. But also, like most of attendees, they never been to Iceland before. So apart even from the photography aspect, it was like a really nice tour, I would say. Because we had a kind of like a local tour guide, which was Cole, and he took us to the places that most of people wouldn't go to because you just don't know they exist. So I think the feedback's been good.
And it was a good group of people that we were there with. Like everybody got on well, and just a good bunch of people.
It was actually amazing. I can't actually remember. I think it was the first workshop you've been at. Like there was someone from Australia. There were people from the States, from Canada, which is like mind blowing. Like people came from all over the world. Yeah, and like it was quite funny that the attendee from Australia, I think, his visa for Europe ran out the day after the workshop, and I met him in the airport in the morning, and he was just about to miss his flight. He just like ran past me. He says, "I'm going to miss my flight, but I'm not allowed to be here anymore. I need to leave Iceland today."
Wow. I'm pretty sure we were out. I'm pretty sure he was out pretty late the night before. So that kind of.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah, so he was the first one. It was Joy. Yeah. We were pretty sensible. Went back to the hotel at 11 o'clock.
Yes.
Although I lost my debit card at the petrol station, I think.
Why, did you leave it in the machine or something?
I don't know. It was when I was sort of filling the car in the morning. The weather was absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, it was a really cool workshop. A small group of people. I think that was also a huge plus. You weren't having to fight with tons of people. I mean, there was still, there's still a little bit of, trying to get shot, but that's just the pitfalls of the workshop.
I think like, as, I don't know, videographers or photographers, we sometimes get so overexcited when we see a nice location, we forget that it's someone else's turn to take a photo.
I think so, yeah.
But I think in general it worked pretty well. We've seen like most of attendees, they send us the photos and they're like really, really good.
Oh, some of them are spectacular. And I've never seen a group of people being so excited for a rainbow. Never in my life.
And like I was laughing I was talking to Cole about it. So we were like children, like running across the road and chasing the rainbow like 5 years old.
I know. But yeah, it was great. And
but that photo, like the photo I took there, is like one of my favorite photos from this year. Because it's the colors and everything were amazing. I don't know if that was the one you've been at when we were driving through the river a few times.
No, I saw the pictures of that, and I was like, "Damn, I would love to film that."
It was like I said to my wife, I said, "This is not a workshop. It's just an excuse for me and Cole to go to Iceland and drive 4x4s through the paddles."
Actually,
we got some pretty good drone shots of the car as well.
The story of our rental car.
Okay.
Because Mark had suggested to me to book a 4x4.
Yes.
We'll be going off-road.
Okay. Like a big 4x4.
So I'll do that. Went on, I think it was like Suzuki Grand Vitara or something I wanted. Or similar, they say on the rental cars. And then turned up and it was a Suzuki S-Cross or something, which is like a step or two down from the Grand Vitara. I was like, this is not equivalent.
Yeah.
And then obviously started driving up the mountain on the F road, which we are not insured for.
Yes.
And it's like, we're gonna have to stop, guys.
Yeah.
But we didn't manage to go any you know.
Yeah,
I think we just went like about a mile or something.
Yeah. What stopped you? Was it just
there was like more and more snow, which would probably, if it would just be myself or like Cole, we would probably go, but you know, with a group of people in the car, you don't want to spend like the rest of the day digging the car out from the snow.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus, these cars, like, they didn't have winter tires really, so you know.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, that was fun driving around in a not quite adequate car.
Yeah.
with all of the luggage from all the people who attended the workshop.
Yeah,
which I thought was hilarious.
For me, what really showed what attendees and what the spirit was like when we got to the hotel on the first night was about midnight.
Yeah.
And then I think someone suggested to go and shoot the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
And everyone, like, although everyone was really tired, everyone still went out and went to shoot for another hour or something.
That's something that I'll never forget. Like, I've always wanted to see the Northern Lights with the naked eye.
Yeah.
And I think that's why everybody was up for it. They were like, right, don't know if we'll get this chance again. Let's just go and do it.
Yeah.
We're knackered, but let's do it.
Yeah, that's true.
It was brilliant.
And just to see it dancing, that was quite something. Like,
like you middle of, I think we were shooting with this like empty house as a, you know.
Yeah, an abandoned house. Yeah, that's cool.
That's like a surreal experience for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough to shoot the Northern Lights in video though. We ended up
It's tough. It's tough to shoot it in photographs, like lots of people struggled.
Yeah.
I didn't have a tripod, which so like I think I got like a really small tripod from someone. So it was like I was trying not to get the grass in the photo because it was so low, but I still managed to get something. Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah. They were like intense 2 days.
Oh, super intense.
Yeah, but I think everyone enjoyed it. So a few people stayed longer, and I definitely can't wait to do more.
And we did get lucky with the weather, which was good.
Yes, yeah.
Like, it was cold, obviously, but
yeah. That on the first night, that place up on the glacier, next to the lake, that was
who are the models' names again?
Flora and Nathan.
Yeah. I thought they were gonna pass out. Like, they were hardcore, man.
Yes, they were hardcore.
They were awesome,
especially coming from Brazil to a weather like that. You know.
Yeah, and all he had on was like a shirt and a leather jacket.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I wouldn't even wear that back home in this one. But okay.
Yeah.
But they got some amazing pictures.
Yes.
So,
yeah, they were really lucky.
And it was funny, we were listening to the audio just to prepare for today, and you can hear, you've obviously said the first point of your talk to everyone. Because obviously it wasn't just us out in the wilderness. We did stop and have like a, kind of a talk aspect to it, and they come in after your first talk, and you're like, guys, you've just missed the golden nugget, the thing that's gonna make you the most successful. You've just missed it. And they're like, oh no. I liked your banter, it was good, widen them up anyway.
So yeah, if you do announce more, I would highly recommend people check it out, because it was an awesome trip and loads of stuff to be learned from you guys.
Thank you very much. I think like obviously it's our workshop, so I can only say it's good. But as I said, even apart from the photography, it's a good way to see Iceland, because you're in a car with someone who really knows where we're going and knows like hidden gems.
Yeah. Let's go on to how you became the legend wedding destination photographer that is Mark Pacura.
No, I'm definitely not a legend.
How did you start in photography? Not even weddings, just right from the beginning.
I bought the first camera because I like motorsports. I was like, if my mom and dad would be millionaires, I would definitely be a rally driver. So I loved motorsports, and I always wanted to kind of capture them in a way. So I went and bought Minolta 505, I think it was, with two zoom lenses. I had no idea how it worked. I didn't know why sometimes like something's in focus, something's not. I was using that camera maybe for 5 years. Everything was in auto. But like then my wife, I think, bought me a digital camera as a gift, and I left it. I used to do hill walking, so I went to, I think it was Cairngorms, and I left it there. I was changing my boots, and I put the camera on the fence. And then I remember exactly when I got home, just when I was about to open the door for my car, I realized my camera is still there. So I drove back because it was a very kind of random, like I just like middle of nowhere. I thought it might still be there, but it wasn't there.
No.
But then I had another digital camera, and then when me and my wife, we decided we're going to get married, I kind of looked at different photographers, and I thought, without like I might not sound nice, but I thought some of them are actually not that good. So if they get booked, I'm quite sure I have a chance as well. So I built like a website with like personal photos and that kind of stuff, and then and I put the ad on Gumtree, thinking someone's going to book me for a wedding next year or something like that. And a couple booked me for a wedding next week because the photographer cancelled. So I was pretty stressed. Like I knew I can probably take a photo, but being from Poland, I've never been at the wedding in UK. So I didn't really know what's gonna happen next. So I wouldn't leave the bride. I just followed the bride. So don't miss anything. And that's how it started. I enjoyed it, and it kind of, for me, the turning point was when I went to Stockholm and I did the workshop with Nordica guys and Fer Huaristi. They were like, for me at that time, it kind of felt like I'm playing football with Ronaldo. If you like, they were like, I remember Googling the best wedding photographers in the world, and everywhere you look, like Fer Huaristi was there.
He's definitely a legend.
And then, and like through that we became friends, but that was a turning point. That kind of made me realize there's so much more to it than what you can kind of learn from your next door neighbor in a way.
Yeah.
So like, if anyone who's fairly new in the business and they listen to it, I really suggest like going to a good workshop. Not just, I probably, it's not even about taking photos, because I don't think you can actually teach someone how to take good photos. You kind of have to feel it in a way. But to someone who will give you like a good business advice, I think that's more important.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. That was one thing that we learned quite quickly, was like we didn't really know how to run a business when we started, and that's probably the thing that helped the most. So because like when I went to their workshop, like I don't shoot like Fer or I don't shoot like Cole and Jakob, but I run the business the same way they do. Because the basics of running the business are the same for everyone. Doesn't matter what's your style. So like I don't shoot in the cities, so I don't do like experimental photos like Fer does, but the way I answer emails or something like that is probably the same. So I think this is very important, especially now when the market is so oversaturated. Do you think it's important to have your own style then? Is that?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Like that's another thing, like I tell people, like try to maybe not to look at too many good photographers, because everyone's got different style. So I think it's more important to follow your own path, because if someone goes to I Love Sky and they will place a couple of one of these epic locations, it doesn't matter what kind of editing you do, you will always look good. So I think for me I remember what they said, it's not that difficult to take a good photo on the mountain in like I Love Sky or New Zealand or anywhere. It's more difficult to get the couple to pay you to go there. To trust you to travel somewhere and to take their photos.
And speaking of which, you're sort of known for destination weddings. That's sort of what you specialize in. So was that something that once you sort of realized, I'm not going to look at the local market, did you set a goal of, I want to be like more of a destination photographer? I think it's more like, I kind of think, I don't know, like it wasn't like a decision I made. I think it just kind of happened more. I think it happened also because I went to like
Fair and Colin Jakob workshop, and I made this like international connection. So when people started to recommend me for weddings abroad, that kind of happened by itself. But also at some point I thought, I'm gonna get bored if I only shoot local weddings. So I have to travel a little bit just to stay inspired. I think it's like we in a job when we really need to. It's fair to our clients when we're still inspired. If I go to a wedding and I've been there like 10 times and it doesn't, I'm not excited to be there anymore. It's not fair with people who pay me for shooting their wedding.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, that's one thing that we're like. People used to ask us, have you shot at this wedding? Can we see a wedding film from this venue? And I'm like, we don't like going to the same venue for that very reason. We feel kind of like creatively uninspired when we get there. Try to look for different angles, but they've seen that film, so they're probably going to want that film. So it becomes very cookie cutter in the way you have to approach it.
You can understand couples in a way wanting to see photos or a video from their venue, because then they know how to work here, and also because they've not been married before, so they don't know. They think we need to see some, but as photographers and filmmakers, you're like, I don't want to do the same place again. Like, I want to keep pushing myself and approach a new venue with a fresh eye and be like, oh wow, look at this angle I can get. I
always say that in a way I want to know less, as little as possible, because it keeps me on my toes when I'm shooting. And I never, like, I very, very rarely go and see the venue before. I've done it maybe twice. And, because there's so many different aspects. The weather will be different, the light will be different. And if you go there and you already have a photo, I don't know, or like video frame in mind, and it doesn't happen, it can put you off.
Yeah.
But if you go there with like a blank page and you just have to work something on the spot, I think it's, I don't know, at least for me, it's better.
So obviously you mentioned your connections abroad. What other steps did you take to ensure you got bookings in destinations? Well,
I think going to events, like I've been, for example, like way up north. That's like an event that people come from all over the world. I've been to most of them. So now when I go there, I know probably 50% of people. So it's not even I go there for presentations. I go to meet the friends and have a beer with them.
Yeah.
So something like that. But also, I think, it also helps that we're quite lucky. We're based in one of the most popular destination locations in the world. So like, I think in networking or in connections or recommendations, it needs to be like a two-way street. So if someone recommends me for a wedding, I'll try my best to return the favor. And because we live in a very popular destination, it's easier for us probably. Yeah.
And let me tell you, so like, being a video, like, I have that frame of mind as well. I would love to be able to just recommend a photographer, but the amount of opportunity that we get to do so because we're video is so small. It's kind of heartbreaking that we can't return the favor.
But
so
it does happen every so often.
It does.
But
all right, Growly, calm down. You're right there.
But when it does, like when people do like book us as the first thing, and sort of video is not more important, but they've booked it. It's like, yes, we get a chance to recommend photographers. And then it's like, man, we've got so many we want to recommend. We want to return the favour. It's like, damn. Because you don't want to send a list of 10 names.
Yeah, of course. But I think it's not just about, like, I need to, like, let's say if I recommend you, I'm expecting something back. As long as we open about it and I don't feel it's just like a one-way street, you know. Because let's say if I recommend someone who's fairly new to the business, but I like their work ethic and, I try to help them, I'm not expecting anything back. But also I think in general, recommending good people, it's like helping the industry. And the better the industry looks, it's better for everyone.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I guess that's the mentality with all these workshops.
Yeah.
Because some people might look at all these workshops and go, well, why are you educating your competition? Essentially. But a rising tide floats all boats.
I love that saying. But I think with workshops, I probably say there are too many workshops just now. But like if you choose
Mark.
I think it's all like if you're going to choose a good workshop that someone is sending like a valuable message and they will give you a good tools, it helps. Yeah. But I don't know. I've been to a few. I've done quite a few, and for me they like amazing.
Yeah. I love a good workshop.
Yeah, the only one we've really attended is For Love's Sake, which is aimed at videographers, and it's usually hosted in Rotterdam or Barcelona. And as you say, it's the community. Like, we made so many friends at that first workshop that they did, that some of them came along the next time, same as us, mainly just to network with more people again, and sort of, if we learn anything, it's a big bonus. But I wasn't going to be like, I really want to learn this from someone. I was going because I was like, I just want to network with these guys and socialize again.
I think like maybe it's slightly different for you because you work in a team, but I work by myself and I'm stuck in the office most of the time. So it's also like a good way to meet people that have the same passion and just have a good time with them. And quite often these workshops, conferences are held in like really nice places. Like the next way up north is in Cannes. So, I don't think anyone needs much convincing. My wife is not a photographer, but when I told her way up north is in Cannes, she's like, she's going.
Right. So was your first destination wedding, was that like a recommendation? Or like what? How did you
think back?
How did you get your first one? Can you remember it?
I don't know if I should say that because then everyone will start to do it. No, like I really hustle hard to get like destination weddings. I was trying to kind of every way to book that first wedding. Well, I can't remember which one was the first one, but one of the first one was quite easy. Basically, someone contacted me about the engagement session in Scotland. And asked them, where are you getting married? And they said, we're getting married just outside Rome. I said, well, I can do your wedding as well.
Cool.
Like, I think if you're outside the wedding bubble, like, it's still kind of, maybe it's slightly different now, but like 5 years ago, most of people didn't realize the photographer from Scotland would go to Italy to shoot a wedding, because in a way, if you think about it, it's, I don't know, it still kind of like blows my mind. And the other one was basically I went on TripAdvisor and I was just following like every conversation that would speak about wedding somewhere, like Italy or whatever. And I got in touch and I would just send like private messages to everyone who was asking questions about photographers in that location. And I messaged someone who was getting married in Sorrento. He was actually the mother of the bride. And I said, oh, by the way, I'm a photographer and I'll come to Sorrento to shoot the daughter's wedding. And I went there, I shot that wedding, and the bride turned out to be a Sky TV presenter. I blogged that wedding, it went pretty popular, and I came back to Sorrento about 15 times because of that one wedding.
Did you have trouble blogging that one?
Yeah, originally they said I cannot blog her.
Yeah.
Because she was from TV. Excuse me. But what I did, I built the blog, I blogged it as private page on my website, and I sent it to them, and I said, well, I think your wedding was amazing and it really help my business and it would really mean a lot to me if you would actually change your mind and let me blog her. And they said yes. And
yeah,
I think even the venue, the owners of the venue, they always say that blog post did so much for them that because so many people booked them from the States or without seeing the venue, but because of that blog post.
Cool.
It was basically luck, but also I worked for that luck because I contacted every person on TripAdvisor, which I don't recommend. I don't think it works anymore because I think they changed the way that the search button works or whatever. Yeah. But if you want to try, go for it. I don't do it anymore.
So is there anything you learned from shooting those weddings? Like, obviously you've shot loads of destination weddings now. Thinking back, is there anything that was a big revelation when you first shot?
Like for me, I don't know, I'm just, even from my personal point of view, I didn't have a passport till I was 23. So if someone would tell me then that I'm going to go to, I don't know, New Zealand or any places like by myself to shoot weddings, I would say it's not going to happen. So that was like a surprise that I never expected in my life. But I also learned, that it's not all, rainbows and butterflies. It comes at the cost.
Yeah.
So even for 2018, I'm actually trying to book slightly less destination weddings because my circumstances changed. I have a daughter now, so I want to spend more time at home. So I would say it's amazing. I really love her and I wouldn't change it for anything else. I'm still going to shoot destination weddings for the next couple of years, but it's not just what you see on Instagram. It comes at a cost. I remember someone said that it doesn't matter how good is your dinner if you're having it by yourself, it doesn't taste that much that well. So yeah, that's a lot of true. So like I've been, I think last year or 2 years ago, I've been to some amazing places. But if you're standing on the top of the mountain in New Zealand, but you have no one to share that moment with, it doesn't feel that good. So that's okay. I'm still happy I'm there, obviously, and I would love to go again. But it's still not as, it doesn't feel as good as if I would have someone like my wife or whoever to be there with me.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, Greg and I have noticed this trend that you've described, and it's photographers who are and videographers who have kind of made a name for themselves, going to like Iceland and like further afield, and they have told us that they are changing the way that they run their business, essentially, because you don't put out blogs with destination stuff on it, and they're trying to get back to their local market.
Yeah, so I'm trying that as well. I'm even like breaking my rule of not going to the same venue too often. There's a venue in Stranraer, Danske Estate, which I really love because it's massive. Mm-hmm. You can shoot there like every day and take different photos. Mm-hmm. So I think I have 5 weddings there next year. Wow! Because the owners recommend me to every couple, but because I know I can do something different with every couple, but it also means I'm gonna be more at home because I can basically sleep in my own bed after shooting that wedding. So I'm trying basically to, I'm more picky with what I'm shooting abroad. Yeah. So at the moment I only have 3 destination weddings next year. I think like in general, when you look at the kind of, let's say like bigger names from that have been shooting destination weddings mainly 5 years ago, now they cannot go back to their local market.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that's to do with age, that a lot of them are starting to settle down with families?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it might be also with the fact that the market for destination weddings is so much more saturated. There's a lot of young boys and girls who are happy to go anywhere for the flights, which I cannot afford. I've got, let's say, family to feed. I cannot go to, Portugal for free to shoot a wedding.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, we noticed we did 1 or 2 destination weddings every year. Like, we don't do a lot, but that sort of, even the 1 or 2 started to slow down within the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And from what we heard from the wedding planner that sort of gave us a lot of referrals, it was because the industry was changing in Europe, and there was more local videographers who were better quality, or they could get other people and not have to pay for our 2 flights and accommodation on top of our package price.
Yeah.
So a lot of that was to do with, we can get someone at a better price now.
Yeah, I think in general, it doesn't matter if it's a destination weddings or local weddings. The market is definitely more saturated than it was a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely harder than it was. But so that's why I think it's even more important to have to not just focus on your photography, or videography, which is obviously really important, but also not to forget that business part is really important. I think, to be honest, at the moment, I would say not even 50-50. I think it's like 60-70% is the business and 30% is photography or films.
Yeah, I think Greg and I learned that the hard way, because like there was a year where we took our eye off the ball with business. I think we concentrated more on trying to get the films up or trying to book more films, and we didn't blog. And the next year suddenly bookings had kind of dried up a little bit, and we were just survived. And then we were like, right, okay, let's go and rebrand and go heavy on both and really understand the numbers and learn from other people.
And obviously it's a lot of it is like due to being a bit lucky. But for example, even with the workshop in Iceland, I posted a couple of photos from that workshop on my Instagram, and I booked 2 weddings in Iceland in the last 2 weeks.
Nice.
And obviously if I wouldn't post these photos, they would be just on my computer at home, no one would see them, and these couples wouldn't get in touch with me probably. Mm-hmm. So I know we all busy, and but like it really bugs me, and I'm probably known for being grumpy about it. That if someone says, "Oh, I'm not booking," and the next year doesn't look good, I have very little bookings, so I'm worried. My question is always, but when was the last time you blogged something, or when was the last time you posted something on Facebook or Instagram? Mm-hmm. Because quite often people seem to think that dropping the prices is the quickest solution to booking more, but that's like a very short-term strategy, you know, like hustling a bit harder, doing a bit more for your business, like updating your website, having like, I don't know, better presence on Facebook or Instagram, that when you have to start. And then if it doesn't happen, maybe you should have a look at, well, maybe my work is not up to scratch. Maybe I should change something with that. So I think in general it's definitely harder, but you know, just by sitting there and complaining, nothing's going to happen.
No, totally. So since you're kind of booking less destination weddings, and you just said you're going back to the same venue a few times, before when you viewed going back to the same venue with like a negative slant to it, you didn't want to do it. Has that kind of changed because now you appreciate the time that you'll gain with your family because of these?
Yeah. Especially after this season, I think I've done about 80 flights this season. And I don't know, in October or November, I'm thinking, I'm not going anywhere. And then something else comes up and something else comes up. But also, like, I had a really, really good relationship with the owners of that venue. They were, you know, and because in general, I don't shoot in the cities. But let's say if that would be a venue with a, I don't know, small park around it, then probably I wouldn't go back again, or at least for, I don't know, a couple of months or like a year. But because that venue is like, I can shoot a wedding a completely different way. Like, I mean, like portrait-wise, obviously, you know, I can take different portraits because, I think it's like 20,000 acres or something like this. Wow. So that's why I know it won't be a problem that I'll still feel like excited to go there. So
has, obviously, with making the steps to go back to your local market, has the way that you approach social media different? Well, like the way you blog, is that?
In general, what I did actually, I raised my prices for international weddings, and that kind of like helps with what you book and like with the, the ratio. And but also, I'm trying to blog more Scottish stuff, and my plan for the winter is, hello wife, I'm warning, I'm buying a drone. So I'm gonna shoot more like landscape stuff for myself, but just basically to show more Scotland. Cool. Because my work, like I don't do any city weddings, as I just said a few minutes ago. So like the style of my work is a lot to do with nature. So I think landscape photography, even if it's nothing to do with weddings, kind of resonates with what I normally do anyway. So that's how I started to book like elopements, because I did a project 365 days of Scotland. I was just posting a photo from Scotland every day. I never finished that project, but it kind of helped me to book the couples who like countryside as well.
I want to get a new drone as well.
I've got a Phantom.
We will get one.
I've got a Phantom 4 I bought 2 years ago, and I used it 3 times. It's the most expensive wall art in our house because it's hanging on the wall in my office.
With Jack was designed from the ground up and is tailored specifically for creatives. Whether you provide a service like design, development or photography, or offer advice to clients, With Jack is for you. It's focused on creatives. Insurance shouldn't be complicated, so With Jack has made every step easy. You'll deal with one form and talk to one Jack as you sign up, get covered, and move on with your day. With Jack is all about bespoke insurance for creatives. Simple. That doesn't mean more forms or faff, it means less. It's not about endless features and stale service. It's about one solid policy and the personal touch. Bye-bye unnecessary fuss. Hello, creative friendly insurance. Be a confident creative.
What do you take when you travel?
I travel light. I always bring 2 cameras with me, and I have 3 or 4 lenses and 1 speed light. And this is pretty much what I take with me to the weddings. In Scotland, I always have like another bag with extra body or extra few lenses that I never use anyway. Yeah. But because it's just sitting in the car. But 2 cameras, I think, and usually 3 lenses. But I normally use 2 lenses anyway. Or you mainly shoot on 35 and 85, and that's it.
Let's talk then about the realities of destination shooting. So yeah, let's talk about this illusion of grandeur, I think, that people have for wedding destinations, right?
Well, at the end of the day, a destination wedding is just a wedding in another country. So, if someone thinks that, a wedding in Italy is going to be better than a wedding in Scotland, it's just a different building, I don't know, different food or something like this. And I think quite often you might end up being feeling disappointed because you just go there, and not every wedding in Tuscany involves a planner with £10,000 flower budget.
Yeah.
I don't get weddings like that. So yeah, I think if someone kind of wants to start traveling more and shoot weddings abroad, that's what they have to remember about, that at the end of the day it's just a wedding in another country. It's not about the country, it's about the people. But if you go in there with high expectations, you might be disappointed, because I've done, I don't know, 200 weddings, probably more, but I never done a wedding that from every aspect I could say was perfect. Because either the weather wasn't the best, or the light, or I don't know, we didn't have enough time for the portraits, or there's always something that goes wrong, which is actually what's good about it. But but I know if I go to another country, it probably won't be the way I imagine it. But if you go there with a frame of mind, it's not about you, it's about who's getting married there.
Yes.
And the most important thing at the end of the day is that they're happy with what you produce. It helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would also say that if you're struggling on your local market and you feel like your work is not good, using an excuse that it's easier in Italy or it's easier, I don't know, in Spain, it's not.
It's definitely not.
Yeah, there's a whole different bunch of problems. Like they might have guaranteed dry day, but you've got to deal with the really harsh sun.
Yeah, exactly.
Like people in Spain or Italy are envious of us with our grand castles that we get to shoot at.
Yes.
So, yeah,
especially like if someone from, like, I presume like most of your audience is from Scotland. So if you can't really take good photos in Scotland, which is by probably the most photogenic country that I've been to, maybe like New Zealand is the same, or Iceland, if you can't really do anything that's really, you're happy with here, you're not going to go to Italy and, to, let's say, I go quite often to Sorrento, which is like a beautiful city, but it's very difficult to photograph there because there are people everywhere. You don't have like you can't take any panoramic epic photos or anything like that. So I think the key is like I would advise everyone to like at least try to really, I don't know, rock the local market first before you start to think about traveling abroad. It may be like I didn't do it. I started to travel quite often, but the market 5 years ago was completely different to what it is now.
100%.
And and also if someone thinks that, I don't know, in a way, I think like if someone wants to do destination weddings, you either have to go all in or don't do it at all. Because if someone thinks that they will go to Italy and they will have an Italian wedding in their portfolio, that's nothing special these days. Like everyone's got one.
Yeah.
So, so no one's going to book you because you have for a wedding in Scotland because you have a wedding in Italy in your portfolio. So yeah, I'm really against traveling. I don't know, not shooting a wedding in Scotland that's maybe an hour away from your house for like a good money, or going to a wedding in Italy and shoot it for free, because it doesn't make any business sense. Unless you obviously want to go to that destination, obviously you have to more often you have to start somewhere and maybe do a few weddings at slightly lower price or something, just to kind of, just to start there.
Yeah. So where did this come from? People working for free, like, is it social media? Like why the hell do people want to travel to a cool place, but then to do this same job and shoot a wedding and for free for no money?
I don't know. I think I'm too old to answer that question. But I sometimes think that like it's not just about wedding industry. I think there's a lot of like industries when there's like a group of people who think they have this dream of traveling the world, stay in nice hotels, taking a few photos with their phone and posting them, and everyone will, I don't know, give them things for free. And obviously there are some lucky people out there on Instagram who do it, but there's there's maybe, I would say, there's less of 1% of
Yeah.
people who actually manage to do it, and 99% of people who dreaming about doing it. And I kind of disagree with this culture. And for me, the solution would be just switch off Instagram, and everything will come back to normal. You know? Because I think we're so obsessed, and I'm the same probably, but we're so obsessed about instant kind of gratification. It gets to the point when we are happier than we post a photo on Instagram and it gets a few thousand likes. It makes us more happier than if you go to, I don't know, just like a normal wedding somewhere here, but you actually make good money and, to feed your family, but no one knows about it, or like you got 100 likes on Instagram. You kind of, I don't know, if you think about it, it's crazy because likes, followers, they don't really pay your bills. You know.
Yeah. Would you say they help? I mean, Instagram has helped. I would assume Instagram has helped couples discover new places that they want to get married.
Yeah.
So it's not. So I was almost projecting a negative stereotype of Instagram. It's not all negative. I don't want to feel.
I think there are two. Like for me, I love Instagram. But the way I look at the Instagram, first of all, it's a tool.
Yeah.
So it's a tool I use for my business. So I don't, obviously, like if I post a photo and it plummets, like no one's liking it, it kind of affects me in a way, but I try to, I don't know, to put myself in a frame of mind that I know it shouldn't really affect me. But Instagram is like, I follow so many amazing photographers and not just wedding photographers, but like landscape photographers, illustrators and people like that on Instagram. So it's an amazing source of inspiration. But also like the effect of Instagram, and it's not just in wedding photography, but in general in the new wave of people who travel the world, and if you have an Instagrammer who's got maybe 3 million followers, if he's going to post a photo of somewhere in I Love Sky that no one ever heard about this location, people will appear there like straight away. And I've been to I Love Sky the last time, I think it was like 3 or 4 months ago, and it actually like really hit me how different it was compared to like my previous visit, which was only like maybe a few months earlier as well. Like all the roads were really damaged, and I don't know, I felt really sad about it. So I think in general Instagram has, like, it's an amazing tool, like amazing way to see the world, like to meet people and everything, but it definitely comes with a there's a bad side to it as well. Even there's that road, James Bond Road in Glencoe.
Oh yeah.
I remember. I remember I shot a couple there like 2 years ago, and just by accident, the owner of the deer farm was driving in front of us, and he beeped the horn. I thought he's beeping the horn because he wants the deer to kind of get off the road, but he was actually beeping the horn for them to come and get the food. So we just jumped out, in the matter of like 10 seconds, there was like deer everywhere. So I managed to put my couple between the deer and we took a photo. And that point, I didn't know something like that can happen there. Like there was no one there. But now if you go to that road, there are people there all the time feeding the deer.
Oh yeah.
It obviously didn't happen because of my photo, but there was, for example, an Instagrammer from Finland, got like 2 million followers or something like that. He posted a photo from there, and now when I think about it, like, I don't know, we shouldn't be feeding the deer apples. It's not good for them in the long term, but everyone does it.
It's actually, I was speaking to this recently, but it's actually very bad for our ecosystem.
Yeah.
Because now there are way too many deer in Scotland, and they are eating the vegetation that they normally eat, but they're doing it in such numbers that it's kind of destroying like forests and other species who rely on the trees to live in. And I'm like, damn. Yeah. So traveling is great and everything is it's an amazing, but we need to be more cautious, like what it does to the environment. Like I was in Iceland in July to shoot a wedding, and I went to one of the popular places, but it was like 11 o'clock at night, so it was like nearly dark. And I was there by myself, but everywhere was like fenced. You couldn't, there were like ropes or lines, whatever you call it, everywhere that were probably not there 3 years ago, Yeah.
So, because there's so many people there, and they go to the, they go for example, like that place was also because there was a lot of drops, like it was like a canyon, so people were getting too close, to the edge, and I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I think like where is it going to end? Because like we don't enjoy the nature, I think, as much. We don't enjoy the views and everything. We just want to show that we've been there.
Yeah.
Because if you follow a bus on I Love Sky, I think people just jump out. They take a photo with their phone. They don't even really look at what they photographing. They just post it on Instagram, jump on the bus again, and they go to the next location.
Yeah, they're not actually taking it in.
Yeah.
Well, when we shot we did a South African wedding, South African elopement, more or less a small wedding, and it was just below the Krang. But the day was the day after or the day before, we went back to the Krang, which is if you've seen an image of Skye, the big cliffs, in case you don't know it, and we were getting some drone footage, and I remember just standing there after getting the drone stuff and just like really just enjoying the weather, enjoying the view. Yeah. And I was like I had never done before, because obviously if I'm there, I'm with a couple, like you just said, and I'm looking around and I'm looking down all the cliff edge, and there's just like coats and like hundreds of people, and I'm like, wow, I bet you they are destroying this cliff edge.
Yeah.
Like, and you just said the roads, and I'm wondering, like, because we are damaging it, who's doing the fixing? Is there any fixing?
Government.
The government?
Yeah.
Just the government general?
I think there's no way to stop it. And as I said, like traveling is amazing, but I think in a way, if you travel, do it for the right reasons. Go to I Love Sky to really enjoy I Love Sky. Don't go to I Love Sky to tell your friends you've been on I Love Sky.
Yeah.
It might sound silly, but that's the way I feel.
Yeah. We did an elopement in May with a couple that wanted to climb a mountain, like on their wedding day, to get the photos, and it was like, all right, cool. We got to the top of Ben Ann with Sean Bell was the photographer, and him, his partner, me and Tom and the couple, we all just we got up there and we're like, whoa. And we actually just stopped for a bit, mainly because we were waiting for the light to get just perfect, because it was about sunset, but we just stood about for a while not shooting, just recovering from the walk and just appreciating it.
Yeah, just enjoying the moment.
This is awesome. Like, we're here to take their photos, but nobody's really rushing to take them yet. They're like, let's just take our time and chill. It was so good.
Yeah, and it's quite a hike up there. Like, it's not it's not an easy breeze.
I was pretty knackered carrying 1DX 7200 monopod.
Yeah.
All the way up that hill.
Yeah, I've done that walk as well.
Yeah.
I was chasing Gabe McClintock and 2 days in a row. Yeah.
Let's get back to obviously people who travel for free, work for free to shoot in these locations. If you're starting out and you're thinking, right, this year I want to do destination videography or photography, how's the best way that they should go about that?
I think you need to be a bit lucky, but nothing happens if you don't work for it.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to have a long-term strategy and not just think about, what's going to happen this year.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, like no one can start in this industry or any industry and charge or the same, fee. They have the same fees as someone who's been in the business for a couple of years. But I think, especially with destination weddings, you really need to think twice. Is it really for you? Mm-hmm. And maybe speak to someone who's doing it, but they will give you a real, view what it's like, not just what you can see on Instagram and
I mean, it's really, you're flying first class, staying in luxury hotels, aren't you?
Yeah, of course, yeah. All the time, yeah.
And then you get a 5-day holiday after the wedding. Every time, yeah.
Yeah, I wish it was like that. No, it's not like that, unless you're Josevilla or... But I'm not, and most of us are not. And as I said, it's amazing, but honestly, I would really think twice, especially if you have family. Because let's be honest, I think you can really shoot all your weddings in Scotland, but still have incredible weddings, incredible locations, and probably better than 90% of other countries in Europe. And at the end of the day, I think in general, we also destination wedding in reality, it's not a wedding the photographer is traveling to or videographer is traveling to. Destination wedding is a wedding where the couple is the couple is traveling. So I would say then in that way, like 90% of my weddings are destinations because most of my clients in Scotland are American.
Yeah.
And
we shot a destination wedding with you this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
They were coming from America to get married here. Yeah.
And with elopements, I think it's amazing if you drive for Isle of Skye or, I don't know, Glencoe, and the couple is with you in the car and they've never been to that place before. It's like, it's such an experience to them. So if someone cannot, like, I think if someone's unhappy because they cannot, like, they shoot weddings locally and they don't enjoy them, they won't enjoy weddings abroad because it's not about the place. If you don't enjoy being with people and if you don't enjoy looking at them being happy, location will not change anything. You will very quickly get to the point you're going to be annoyed with airports, Ryanairs, and and things like that, delays, and shitty hotels. And
I'm really glad that you mentioned the couple because obviously in my introduction I mentioned nothing about people. I mentioned being inspired by places. I mentioned being inspired by some of the amazing films that you've seen with just the location. I didn't mention any people. So, that's part of our business. Like for us, it's all about the people.
Yeah.
Most of the time that we've done destination weddings, it's ended up being at least a 2-day affair. So you get to know the
affair is not the right word to use in a wedding podcast. No, thanks.
2-day event where you get to know the couple way more and their friends way more.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you don't like being with people at a 1-day wedding at your local market, you're probably going to hate it even more when you have to spend more time with them.
When we were going through the rebrand, right, one of the aspects of a brand that we wanted to capture was Scotland. It's something that really connects with us. We love going out into the wilderness, even though we probably don't do it enough. But the way that we started doing that was that we did our first one for free. So again, I've knocked people for doing weddings and stuff for free, but we did it. But with a goal to make elopements our thing, because obviously being a family person, I don't want to be going to sorry,
I'll hang up because it's
it's someone who wants to book you for a wedding in Italy, I think.
Probably
done.
easy the robot gave up too quickly. But like obviously we had a goal that we wanted to do elopements, so doing one for free was logical. What is going on? Stop making noises here.
It's a haunted house.
Yeah. So it was a very controlled business decision that we would find a couple that we liked and did their wedding. And it just so happens that they're like really great friends of ours now. But yeah, I suppose...
I think the technology's telling you not to tell this story.
I think it is. So I would say it's a bad business. For me personally, I wouldn't shoot too many weddings for free. But if it's a business decision that you're going to start doing elopements or whatever, do one for free.
I don't think it's there's anything wrong about doing it for free, but like you have to kind of pretty quickly go to the point when you're actually charging for it.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
Yeah, but I think that the problem is there's I think I don't know anyone personally, but I'm pretty sure there are people who travel the world shooting weddings very cheaply and sell themselves as destination wedding photographers and actually make money selling workshops. So I don't agree with this with that kind of model. And I think like if you're kind of well established in the market, it might not affect you. But imagine someone who's been on Isle of Skye for 15 years and they had like a constant, they just had like, let's say, shoot like 30, 40 weddings a year. They just had to compete with other local photographers. Yeah. But now suddenly there's a wave of people coming from all over the world shooting for free. I think it's very unfair with locals that, they being undercut by someone who comes there, like probably doesn't even care about environment that much and does it for free. And it's okay if it's like your first wedding, second wedding, but if you travel in the world constantly shooting for free, there's definitely something wrong. It's not a long term. It's not a way you can run a business in the long term.
Yeah, and the couple are actually losing out there as well, because if they book somebody who's never been to this place, they don't have the same knowledge as the person who's lived there for 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. And And I might be wrong, but sometimes I think if someone like their only goal is like to be popular on social media and and make themselves look like a destination photographer, they probably don't even care about the couples that much. They just want to tick off the locations of their list. They don't really care about someone is actually getting married in front of me, which is like incredible if you think about it. It's really incredible, to have the opportunity. We really I think because we do it like every week, we forget about it. But like when you stop and think about it, wow, I have the chance and the honor to shoot someone's getting married, and for generations, that's how their kids and their grandkids will be able to see that moment. It's through my photos or through my film. It's mind blowing.
I know, right?
Yeah. There's times where I'll be listening to the ceremony or the speeches, and I start to like get emotional because I'm like, I'm hearing what they're saying. I'm thinking, I barely know these people, but it's like it just hits you. You're like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like the same like when you send the film or you send the box or the gallery or whatever. It's like I'm sometimes thinking like these people are like, because I can see when someone opens my email and when they click the slideshow, that's the first thing they see. I'm like, they sitting there looking at their wedding photos, which is, I'm obviously worried if they're going to like it or not. But like from their point of view, I remember myself, like the first time I saw my wedding photos, it's such an amazing moment. But but at the peak of the season, we tend to forget about it. I always use at the talk I always say we're like surgeons. If a surgeon removes someone's finger, they probably done it like a couple of 100 times. They probably don't realize what it is like to that person on the other side of the scalpel that they lose their finger. Which is like pretty life changing. So that it might be like not the best analogy. How you say? Analogy. But I think in a way it is like that. That because we do it so often, we tend to forget how the emotions are really like involved.
Did someone cut off your finger, Mark?
Not yet, no.
That's good. Do we have any horror stories about traveling destination weddings? I mean, have you missed flights? Have we stayed? Have we been offered a small twin-sized room because people thought we were gay?
I have a few stories. Not drastic, but like I had to steal my car from the airport, from the car park in Italy, because I've been told it's a 24-hour car park, and my flight was pretty early. So I got to the the car park at 3:00 in the morning, and the car park was locked. So I had to jump over the fence, find my car, and then force the gate to open, and manage to. At the wedding in New Zealand, which is like maybe nothing to do with traveling, but when I was shooting in New Zealand, the mother of the groom closed the door in front of me, and she ripped all my buttons in my shirt.
I remember you telling me.
Yes, and a few things like that. Nothing like drastic. Like I don't think I ever missed a flight or had a cancellation, touch wood, which is like incredible with the amount of. When I was in Mexico at the conference last month, they didn't want to let me to get on the plane because they said I need a visa. And I'm like, I live in EU. I don't need a visa to go to EU. I'm Polish. Like I have a EU passport and I live in UK. No, the system tells us you need a visa. And I was very close to missing the flight.
Woofed.
Yeah.
So, but did you just have to go online and get one, or?
No, like there was like a problem on their system because like normally I check in online, but the system online wouldn't let me to check in because they said that I need extra documents. So then I tried to use one of these machines in the airport. It was the same. So I got to the desk and they said, well, the system tells us you need a visa. I'm like, this is European passport. I don't need a visa to go to Europe. And she like the woman behind the counter. So she's like, yeah, I agree with you, but the system still tells me you need a visa because it was a Mexican airline, I think. So I don't know, maybe by default, every Mexican person needs a visa.
Yeah, I don't think we've got any crazy stories like that. We've had a delayed flight coming home, and leaving Florence, we had a delayed flight via Amsterdam. So we had to spend the night in Amsterdam.
Okay.
Where they just took us from the airport to a hotel. Where I've actually been put up twice because I've been delayed.
It was a lovely hotel though.
It is, it's a good hotel, nice breakfast.
Can I, do you remember this flight? from my point of view, Greg.
Yeah.
So I must have eaten something bad on the flight in. And yes,
was it free alcohol on the flight?
There was no alcohol involved, but something just upset me, and I had issues. And not to mention that my what was that with my glasses and my contact lenses? I can't quite remember, but for some reason my sight was compromised as well. Okay, so we arrived in, and I can't remember what all the different rooms were in the airport, but I left an area with Greg, saying that I was going to go to the toilet. I couldn't get back into Greg, Greg and the equipment. And, they were taking us to another hotel. So here I was with bowel issues, let's just say. I couldn't properly see because I didn't have my contacts and my glasses. And I'm blocked from the party where they were going to be taken to the hotel. So I am like,
the rest of the flight we're getting on buses to a hotel.
It was one of the worst travel moments of my life.
That was coming home from a wedding.
Yeah.
We're not crazy. We don't do one straight away when we get back home.
Yeah, Mark.
I don't as well anymore.
So it wasn't an issue, but that was eventful.
Yeah, that was eventful. Yeah. Very painful. Let me say that. Very painful. Yeah, I think you mentioned the kit that you shoot with. How do you pack your kit when you travel?
Last minute. I always laugh at my wife when we go on holidays and she starts to pack 48 hours before, and I'm like 5 minutes to for the taxi to arrive. I'm starting to pack. I always just travel with hand and luggage. So hand luggage. So usually, unfortunately, in Scotland, we don't have many options apart from EasyJet and Ryanair. But what's in a way good with them, if you pay for priority, you're allowed to bring 2 bags with you on board. So I always have my gear in my backpack.
Yeah.
And rest in my suitcase. Because I always, even, sometimes I think now with priority, there are flights when 90% of people are priority and 10% are not. So you still not guarantee to take the bigger suitcase with you. But in my bigger suitcase, I have just extra shirts and the clothing. But my gear is always with me.
And you have 2 camera bodies and 2 lenses, did you say?
I have extra lens. I usually, I used to shoot Nikon. Now I'm I'm transferring slowly to Sony. But I shoot 35, 58 and 85. But that's the lenses I always have with me, but I don't use 58 that often.
Yeah.
So I had a wedding in Italy once when I thought someone stole my backpack, and I had to keep shooting. My passport was there, and the keys to my car as well. When I was flying back next day, I had to keep shooting, but I felt like I'm gonna be sick. I was so stressed, but the wedding was still going on.
Did you find your backpack?
I found it. I had to go through the CCTV camera with the manager, and it turned out I left it somewhere in the groom's room or something.
Yeah. All right, okay.
Which was I checked his room, but I couldn't find it. But I think I was nervous at that point or something, and I just couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had kit being moved before, and I've had that panic, oh my god, where is it? Where is it?
Yeah, right I'm actually very I'm, it's probably a thing I should take care more about. Where is my backpack or where is my gear apart from the one I'm using at the moment?
Yeah.
It's something that when you think about it, you leave a lot of money sitting around with 80, 100, 120 people that you don't know walking about.
Yeah, exactly.
We're very
and there's more and more, you hear more and more stories about it disappearing. So I think maybe for the next season it would be good to have some kind of a GPS or something like that.
Yeah, nice. You can get those things that a wee tracker on your phone.
Yeah, like a tracker.
Yeah, very handy. I always like to ask this question. Some people don't really know how to answer it, but how can other suppliers help you do your job?
Get out of my way when I'm shooting. Well, feed me first of all, that goes to the planners or whatever, the catering companies. No, but in general, I think I'm pretty easygoing. Sometimes, obviously videographers. So sometimes I hear about, there's like a grudge between the video guys and the photographers, video girls and photographers. But I always kind of put myself like I think videography is harder than photography. It's always, if I go to a wedding and think like these guys or these girls, their job is harder than mine because I just need like one frame in each situation. You need like a constant. And if I'm being like a normal human, the other people will be normal humans around me as well. And I never had any problems with video teams, apart from one in Italy when they said they're going to kick my butt after the wedding. But that's a long story. I haven't done anything wrong. And I think I don't know if. Like I think like, I don't know, flowers and that kind of stuff, decorations, that's not really important to me. That's important to the couple.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I don't think they can make my job easier in any way. And I think like the biggest issue in the industry is like, which is, I'm always prepared for it. Like I always bring my own food, but it still kind of bugs me when I feel like I'm being disrespected because I have to beg someone for like a piece of chicken or something like that,
Yeah.
Sometimes you know the couple's organised it.
Yeah, exactly.
Please give me it in decent time, please.
Yeah, and my kind of, maybe I'm wrong, but like when I go to the venue and they're really nice and they treat me well and they want photos, I never charge them. I said, that's it. So I kind of blows my mind. If I'm a chef and I'm proud of my food, I don't want to share it with someone. It doesn't cost me anything because the couple paid for it. Mm-hmm. And I had a few really kind of, situations when I thought, you consider like the best in Scotland, but is that just like a face you put on because you treating me or the video guys or whoever is working here like we're not worth, like, I don't know, your potatoes or something.
I'd love to get a caterer in just to talk about their point of view on us.
So that, like, I always have my own stuff just in case. So it doesn't bug me anymore. But that's probably, if I would say, in general, like, how can we make each other jobs easier? Like, just respect what we do. Like, I respect what they do, or I respect what you do. Like, try to respect what I'm doing, and try to think I've been here since 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to be here till 9 o'clock in the evening. It's like 12 hours.
Yeah.
So I don't know. By giving me a bottle of water, you're not really giving me a bottle of water. You're giving a bottle of water to someone who works for your client as well, and it helps me to deliver a better job to them. And I had a wedding in Italy when, like, me and videographer, we asked for food and they just refused. Then I said, okay, can we at least get a bottle of water? And they said, okay, go to the bar. So I went to the bar and I asked for a bottle of water, and they said, well, the bar is not open yet. And I'm like, yeah, but there's water there. Can you give me a bottle of water? It's like 36 degrees. So yeah, eventually we got something,
That's
yeah. So yeah, I think, like, in general, just like, respect each other.
Yeah. Fair enough. I would say that's a very good thing to follow. Yeah, 100%. Cool. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much
for coming in.
Thank you. I hope
during this busy Christmas season.
I hope it wasn't boring and negative. By the way, I'm running a workshop that's called a boring workshop as well.
Is that not only for Polish people, though?
It is for only for Polish people.
We do have people that listen in Poland, though. So.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say what it's going to be the next one, but yeah, it's going to be a third edition in a couple of months. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just so you know, Mark, we have listeners all around the world.
Wow.
Just to say,
that means, like,
Scottish.
Can I, like, if someone's getting married, I recommend Mark Pacura. Together with, like, these two dudes that sit across from me. We'll travel everywhere.
Yeah. So, where can people find you, Mark? In fact, pimp your work.
According to my wife, stuck to my phone.
Pimp your workshops and
you can find me on my
handles.
website. I'm not good at selling, actually. I don't like selling. That's actually the reason why I left my job prior to the wedding photography. And when I meet the couples, either on Skype or in person, I always tell them, if you don't like me, don't book me. We're going to spend a lot of time together. So it doesn't matter how much you like my work or don't like my work, like, don't book me. Like, I'm not here to sell anything. So it's the same.
Yeah.
like the market is amazing. There's so many good people around. But if you like my work, just send me a message. Probably Instagram is the best now to contact me. Oh, through my website. Yeah.
Cool.
Mark Pacura.
markpacura.co.uk. Yeah.
And people can find us at
cinematefilms.co.uk and at cinematefilms on Instagram.
and Facebook.
Yep.
Don't forget Facebook, Greg. Do we have a review shout out, Greg, for today's episode? We do. We like to reward people who leave reviews for the podcast.
I found out that if we look at the iTunes, you only see the reviews from your country.
Oh.
So I searched a few other countries, and there's a review from somebody in Canada called EB Creative. They said, "Thanks for your podcast. As a Canadian wedding filmmaker, it's refreshing to hear your perspectives and learning more about weddings across the pond. Great topics covered, and I can't wait to hear more." So thank you very much, EB Creative.
Yes, thank you. Everyone mistakes me for being Canadian. I'm just going to say that, but I'm not. And the Canadian out there probably wouldn't be. He'll be like, what? Clearly not Canadian.
No one will think I'm Canadian for sure. But maybe not so much now because, like, obviously my accent is like more polished than it was maybe a few years ago. But like a few years ago, a lot of people were saying that I'm from Western Islands.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. But like I used to have like a job in the office when I spoke English every day. Now I'm mainly in front of my computer. So it's maybe back to being more Eastern European. Yeah.
I didn't realize. It's not that I didn't realize. I just didn't think about going, like, having your accent change back to.
Well, I don't know. Like for me, I think if I maybe catch the accents pretty quickly. So if I would go to maybe, I don't know, Canada and spend a year there, I would maybe speak more with Canadian accents, because even in Poland we have some places have like kind of like different accents. So if I go there and spend even a few weeks there, I start to talk the way they talk in a little bit.
Yeah, that. I feel that's like in Scotland.
Yeah,
like if you go back home, if I go back home, they speak very broad Scottish, and I find myself going into that. So I'm the same as you. I pick up accents like.
But I definitely don't like my own accent. I couldn't do what you're doing and do a podcast because I would hate to listen to myself.
Oh, I don't like listening to myself either.
I don't think anyone likes to listen to us. But here you go.
Yeah, I guess no one does in a way.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, Mark.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah,
and if you did, hit that subscribe button so that you know the next time the next episode goes online. Please leave a review. You'll maybe get a shout out, and it is a massive help and really gets the podcast growing. Or just tell a friend. However,
until next time,
enjoy your life.